Good morning everyone. In our today's class, I am going to derive an expression for quality factor or Q factor of a resonant circuit. For that, what we have to do is we have to draw a resonant curve. In our yesterday's class, we have drawn a resonant curve that will be like this generally. This is our resonant curve. This is the peak value of current, that is assuming as I0. Y-axis is our current axis and x-axis is our frequency axis. Frequency in terms of hertz, current in terms of ampere. Here the 1 divided by root 2 times of current is known as I0 divided by root 2. This is also called as IRMS value. The IRMS value of the peak value will be like this. For example, if we assume this as a 10 ampere divided by root 2 will get some number. That number we have to draw dotted lines like this. It is going to cut this curve in two parts. Okay, here it is connecting at one point and here it is connecting at another point. Then we have to draw a line corresponding to these 2 points. Let us assume this as frequency 1 and this as frequency 2. We used to call this as lower cutoff frequency and this one is higher cutoff frequency or upper cutoff frequency, and this one is called as for which particular frequency the current is becoming maximum is called as resonant frequency. In our case, we are going to assume this omega naught as resonant frequency. This is our diagram for a resonant circuit or resonant curve, or we can call that also as resonant graph. Here what we are deriving is derive an expression for Q factor. Derive an expression for Q factor using resonant circuit. This is also an important concept of physics because this is a derivation which can be asked in your examination. We don't know for how many marks they are going to ask, but this is the lengthy derivation. There is a probability of asking this derivation for 5 marks, but till now they haven't asked in our any question paper. Okay, in our main question paper they haven't asked any time, but there is a probability of asking this particular derivation for 5 marks, so we cannot neglect this one. First, initially what we have to consider is we have to consider a series LCR circuit connected across an AC source. Here omega 1 is lower cutoff frequency, omega 2 is upper cutoff frequency. Corresponding to this resonant frequency, omega 1 is smaller than omega naught and omega 2 is greater than omega naught. These two are the lower and higher cutoff frequencies. Now what we have to do is we have to derive the expression for the resonant frequency or resonant circuit. What is the quality factor using a resonant circuit? That we should know. For that, what I am going to do is what is the expression for this omega 1 and what is the expression for this omega 2? That we should know first. For that, what I will do is the difference between omega 1 and omega naught is known as d omega. Similarly, the difference between omega naught and omega 2 is also d omega. This is the difference between two frequencies and another two frequencies. That is same. That is nothing but change in frequency. dW means that is nothing but change in frequency. If this is equal to this, that is change in frequency for both the period is same. That we should know first. For that, what I will do is, we have to write what is the expression for omega 1 and what is the expression for omega 2. Omega 1 is nothing but omega naught plus d omega. In this case, omega 1 is equal to omega naught plus d omega. Similarly, omega 2 is nothing but, that is omega naught minus d omega. If we go through this diagram, we will get omega 1 is equal to d omega plus omega naught, and omega 2 is equal to omega naught minus d omega. This is our expression. But we know the expression for quality factor. In our earlier session, we have discussed what is Q factor expression. That is nothing but resonant frequency divided by bandwidth. Resonant frequency divided by bandwidth. But in our today's session, we have considered resonant frequency as omega naught. Here we have considered resonant frequency as omega naught. So that is why I am considering that one as it is. What is the expression for bandwidth? Bandwidth is nothing but change in frequencies. That is the difference between lower cutoff frequency and upper cutoff frequency. This is the expression for bandwidth. The expression for resonant frequency is equal to, it is the ratio of resonant frequency to the bandwidth. Resonant frequency is nothing but omega naught in this particular case. Then what is bandwidth? Bandwidth is nothing but the difference between lower and higher cutoff frequency. Now what we have to do? We have to substitute the values of omega 1 and omega 2 for this particular equation. Then what we will get? Then if we substitute, let us assume this as equation 1. This as equation 2. Now substitute the values of 1 in equation 2. Together we are considering this equation as 1. Not only omega 2 is equal to omega naught minus d omega. Omega 1 is equal to omega naught plus d omega, and omega 2 is equal to omega naught minus d omega is our equation 1. If we substitute these two values to equation 1, we will get Q is equal to omega naught divided by I'll do some changes in here. Leave this as it is. Let us keep that equation 2 as it is and equation 1 as it is. Now what I am going to do is, I'll separately write bandwidth. Bandwidth is nothing but, that is difference in lower cutoff frequency and higher cutoff frequency. The difference between lower cutoff frequency and higher cutoff frequency is known as bandwidth. Here omega 1 is what? Omega 1 is omega naught plus d omega. Omega naught plus d omega. Here omega 2 is what? Omega 2 is equal to omega naught minus d omega. Here it is better to keep a brackets, so we won't get confused if there is a bracket. That's why I have right there. If we multiply this minus to these two terms, then what we will get? Omega naught plus d omega. Plus into minus is minus. Minus omega naught. Minus into minus is plus. Then we will get this as d omega. This is minus into plus minus. Minus into minus plus d omega. If we don't have bracket sign here, then what we will write? Minus into plus, that is minus omega naught. Here we don't get any positive value because there is no bracket here. That's why we have to put a bracket here. Now omega naught and omega naught both gets cancelled here. Omega naught and omega naught is now going to cancel because those values carrying same value but in opposite direction. That is, one is positive and another one is negative. That's why these two terms get cancelled. And now what are the remaining things? Here we have d omega and here also we have d omega. D omega plus d omega is what? That is 2d omega. D omega plus d omega is equal to 2d omega. This is the expression for bandwidth. We can do that here only also, but I am derived this part separately and now I am going to substitute the value of bandwidth here. Let us assume this as equation 3. Substitute equation 3 in equation 2. Substitute equation 3 in equation 2. Then what we will get? That is, quality factor Q is equal to omega naught divided by 2 into d omega. Let us assume this as equation 4. These are the things we are going to derive. This is not it. Actually, this is a initial parts of quality factor. Still a long way to go. Now, what I am going to consider is, in our series LCR circuit, there is an expression for current. In our series LCR circuit, the expression for current is in our series LCR circuit, there is an expression for current. And what it is? The expression for current, that is, I is equal to V divided by Z. What is this Z means? This is Z actually. The I is equal to V divided by Z. This Z means impedance. Impedance means that is the total resistance of a series LCR circuit. Here the expression for Z is square root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square. This is the expression for current in terms of LCR circuit. I is equal to V divided by Z, that is nothing but voltage divided by resistance. Here the resistance means impedance. Impedance means that is total resistance of a LCR circuit. The expression for impedance is square root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Now what we have to do is, for a particular frequency, for one particular frequency, we may consider omega 1 or we may consider omega 2 as our particular frequency. At frequency omega 1, what I have considered is, at a particular frequency omega 1, what is the value of current at frequency omega 1? The value of current at frequency omega 1 or omega 2. You may consider omega 1 or omega 2 because for omega 2 is also the value of current is same as omega 1. For frequency 1, the current is I naught divided by root 2. Similarly, the value of current for frequency 2 is I naught divided by 2. Then this current will become I naught divided by root 2. And from Ohm's law, we have V is equal to I naught into R. From Ohm's law, we have the expression for alternating voltage, that is V is equal to I naught into R. If we substitute the values of current and voltage to this equation, what we will get? I has become I naught divided by root 2 and V has to become I naught into R. This is I naught into R. Again, the quantities of these terms, this is R square plus, here what I am going to consider this as, this is inductive reactance and this one is capacitive reactance, and we know the expressions for those two concepts. The expression for inductive reactance is omega into L. But here we are considering at a particular frequency omega 1. That is why I am going to write this as omega 1. Here this is inductive reactance, the value of inductive reactance is omega L. But for a particular frequency omega 1, we have to write that as omega 1 only. If we are considering this as omega 2, then we have to write omega 2 here. Then the value of XC, that is nothing but capacitive reactance. Capacitive reactance is 1 over omega into C. The capacitive reactance expression is XC is equal to omega 1 over omega into C. Here also we have to write that as omega 1. Here I naught gets cancelled. Now we have to alter this equation. For that there is no space here. So I am going to rub some concepts. Look at here. If we send this root 2 from here to here and this R square plus omega 1L minus 1 over omega 1 from here to here to the another side of the equation, what we will get? The expression is going to change. That is square root of R square plus omega 1L, sorry, here we have to write square, minus 1 over omega 1 into C whole square. This is equal to root 2 into R. Carefully watch the equations while I am deriving. If there is any doubt, you can ask me later. R square plus omega 1 L minus 1 divided by omega C whole square is equal to root 2 into R. This is our modifying equation of this one. And after taking square on both sides, taking square on both the sides. If we take square on both the sides, what it will become? That is square root of R square plus omega 1L minus 1 over omega 1C whole square to the power 2. Now here what we are doing, for this whole equation we are taking square on both the sides. Then this will become root 2 into R whole square. The value of square root and square gets cancelled here, and the remaining thing is R square plus omega 1L minus 1 over omega 1C to the power 2. Here the square root of this square gets cancelled and we have to write 2 into R square. That means we have to square on both the terms. Root 2 also gets squared and R is also get squared. Root 2 to the power 2 is 2 and R square is nothing but R square. Here we have 2R square, here we have 1R square. If we send this term to the another side of the equation, what it will become? It will become omega 1L minus 1 over omega 1C whole square is equal to 2R square minus R square. 2 apple minus 1 apple is equal to 1 apple. So here only it is 2r square minus r square is equal to r square only. For that, the modified equation of this version is, that is omega 1 L minus 1 over omega 1 C whole square is equal to r square, because 2r square minus r square is equal to r square only. Now if we cancel the squares on both sides, then what we will get? We will get the expression as r is equal to omega 1 into L minus 1 over omega 1 into C. This is our expression for resistance. Still there is a long way to go. This is not the completion of the whole derivation. There is still some equations to do. What we have to do right now is we have to substitute the values of omega 1 in this particular equation. We know the values of omega 1, that is omega naught plus d omega. If we substitute the values of omega 1 here, we will get the remaining part of this derivation. Now let us see what it will be look like. We know that r is equal to, what is the value of omega 1? Omega 1 is nothing but omega naught plus d omega into L. Here instead of omega 1 we are substituting omega naught plus d omega. From where we are getting? This is our initial assumption. Omega 1 is equal to omega naught plus d omega, and here only it is 1 over omega 1 is nothing but omega naught plus d omega into C. Here we have omega 1 as omega naught plus d omega into L, and 1 over omega 1 as omega naught plus d omega into C. If we again taking out omega naught from these two terms, what we will get? R is equal to, here we have omega naught and we can take that outside, omega naught into L, we can write that as it is. But in this step we don't have any omega naught. So here if we take out omega naught, it will become 1. Here we don't have any omega naught, that's why we have to write in the denominator. Is that true? We don't know. If we do a reverse concept, then we have to get this equation. L is outside and we have to keep that as it is. If we send this omega naught to the brackets, inside the bracket, then we have to get this equation. Then only the concept is true. Otherwise it is not. Omega naught into 1 is omega naught. Omega naught into d omega divided by d omega naught. Omega naught into omega naught gets cancelled and we will get d omega only. Then our concept is true. Similarly, I am going to do the same way here. That is, if we take out omega naught as a constant from these two concepts, the remaining part is 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught into C. 1 divided by omega naught plus 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught into C. If we substitute the values again, then omega naught into 1 is omega naught into d omega divided by omega naught. Here d omega naught gets cancelled and the remaining part is d omega only. Hence it is true. Next, what I am going to do is, I am going to send this particular region to the numerator. Then what it will become? Omega L plus 1 over 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught. 1 over x is nothing but x to the power of minus 1. We know that 1 divided by x is equal to x to the power of minus 1. Similarly, if we send this 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught to the numerator, then the power of the particular term will become negative. Then this will be 1 over omega naught into C is equal to 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught to the power of minus 1. The modified term of this is this one. Here 1 over omega naught into C, we have kept that as it is, and the 1 plus d omega by omega naught, if we send that to the numerator, the power will become negative sign. We have retained that as it is. Now there is a concept which is going to introduce is, we already know that what is the electrical resonance condition. The condition for electrical resonance. If this is a resonant circuit, means there should be a concept of electrical resonance. In our yesterday class, I have told what is the statement of that and what is the reason behind that. For an alternating voltage of a particular frequency, the current in the circuit becomes maximum. The circuit is called as resonant circuit. The phenomenon is called as resonant electrical resonance, and the frequency is called as resonant frequency. Here the condition for electrical resonance is, that is omega naught L is equal to 1 over omega naught into C. This is our electrical resonance condition. That is nothing but XL is equal to XC. Just go through our yesterday's class, then we will get to know what is this. If we substitute the values of omega naught into L as omega naught into C, and by binomial expansion, we can write this term as, by binomial expansion we can write this term as 1 plus d omega divided by d omega naught to the power of minus 1. Actually this is a mathematical form, a binomial expansion. If you go through mathematics, then you will get to know what is a binomial expansion. Then what we will get is 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught to the power of minus 1 is equal to 1 minus d omega divided by omega naught. This is the expression for 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught to the power of minus 1. This is a mathematical expression by using binomial expansion theory. If we substitute these two values in this particular equation, if we substitute the values of binomial expansion and the condition for electrical resonance in this equation, what we will get is R is equal to omega naught into L, that is 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught. Here what we have is omega naught into L, 1 plus d omega divided by d omega naught. We have to write that as it is. Here is the changing thing. What is 1 over omega naught into C? Here we have 1 over omega naught into C is equal to omega naught into L. So this has become omega naught into L. 1 over omega naught C has become omega naught into L, and 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught to the power of minus 1 is equal to 1 minus d omega d omega divided by omega naught. Therefore this equation is now becoming like this. This is our expression for resistance, that is R is equal to omega naught into L, 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught, minus this is 1 over omega naught C. By using electrical resonance we have changed that thing as omega naught into L. Here we have a binomial expansion formula, that is 1 plus d omega by omega naught to the power of minus 1 is equal to 1 minus d omega divided by omega naught. Hence the equation also gets changed. Now what we have to do is, we have to take omega naught L as a common factor out of those two equations. Okay. In these two terms we have to take omega naught L as our common factor. For that I am going to rub these things. we are almost at the end of the derivation. This is a little bit longer one. This is a little bit longer one, but there is no need to worry because what we are doing here, it is all mathematics. The physics concept remains here only. Okay, for mathematics we have to do all these kind of steps. Now, if we take out omega naught L as a common factor in those two steps, what is the remaining part inside that equation? That is 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught. And here we have minus sign. We have to write that as it is. And again we have to open a bracket for this term, that is 1 minus d omega divided by omega naught. And we have to close two brackets. One is for this one and one is for this one. Next, what it will become? Omega naught n to L, we have to write that as it is. If we modify this equation, 1 plus d omega divided by omega naught, minus into plus is minus 1, minus into minus plus d omega divided by omega naught. Look at these steps very carefully. Here we have sent this minus to this particular term. Minus into plus has become minus, minus into minus is plus. Here plus 1 minus 1 gets cancelled. Here if we don't have anything means that is plus sign is there. Now here what we have, d omega divided by omega naught. Here also d omega divided by omega naught. 1 apple plus 1 apple is nothing but 2 apples. Here this is a constant term. If we don't have anything before this, there is 1. There is the value of 1. So 1 d omega by omega naught. 1 d omega by omega naught is nothing but 2 d omega divided by omega naught. 2 d omega divided by omega naught. Here omega naught gets cancelled. Omega naught and omega naught gets cancelled. Now here what we have, R is equal to L into 2d omega. Here what we have is R is equal to L into 2d omega. But what I want is, I want the values of 2d omega. For that what I'll do, I'll send this L to the another side of the equation. Then R divided by L is equal to 2d into omega. Why I have done like this? Because we have Q is equal to omega naught divided by 2d into omega. If we substitute, let us assume this as equation 5. Let us assume this as equation 5. If we substitute the value of 5 in equation 4, what we will get? Substitute equation 5 in equation 4. If we substitute the values of 5 and in equation 4, what we will get? That is Q is equal to omega naught is there and we have to write that as it is. The value of 2d omega is equal to R divided by L. Instead of 2d omega, we have to write R divided by L. Here L is denominator of a denominator. This is numerator and the whole thing is denominator. Here inside a denominator, this is numerator and denominator. So denominator of a denominator becomes numerator. Then Q is equal to omega naught into L divided by R. This is the thing which we wanted to derive. This is the expression for quality factor in a resonant circuit. The expression for quality factor or Q factor in a resonant circuit is Q is equal to omega naught into L divided by R. This derivation may ask for 5 marks in your examination. I have wrote all the things on this board. If there is any doubt, please go through on later sessions. But right now, this is an important one from your exam point of view. You may ask, what is the importance of this resonant curve or this resonant frequency? Why we need this resonant frequency, or why we need this quality factor? What is the importance of quality factor? That you may ask. The importance of quality factor is, if we are hearing FM, frequency modulation, over a large scale of frequencies, we have so many number of frequencies in our atmosphere. That is 92.3, 92.7, 93.8, 93.5, 100.6. These are the large scale frequencies of our frequency modulations. To tune, if you want to tune a particular frequency, if you want to hear a particular channel, then we have to tune the knob. We have to use a tuning knob to adjust the frequency of a particular channel. For that, quality factor or resonant curve is the main concept to adjust those kind of frequencies. In our next topic, we are going to see what are LC oscillations. These are the oscillations, nothing but when the capacitor is allowed to discharge through an inductor, the electric field oscillates. The electric field lines oscillate when we are allowed to a capacitor to discharge through an inductor. These oscillations are called as LC oscillations. These oscillations are called as LC oscillations. I have already said that the importance of quality factor. Why we are using quality factor or a resonant circuit? Because to tune or modify a particular frequency, we need a quality factor or resonant frequency or a resonant circuit. Using which device you are going to do that? Using LC circuit only we have to modify those frequencies. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಈ LC circuits ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡೆ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಥವಾ ರೆಸೊನೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿನ ಟ್ಯೂನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಈ LC ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ನ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇರ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ LC ಆಸಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್? ಏನೀಗ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ನ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಏನು? ಟು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ದ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್. ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ನ ಅದೇನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ದೋಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ದೆನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್, ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್. ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್, ವೈಲ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್, ದ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಗಾನ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದಿಸ್ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ನಾವು ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು LC ಆಸಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ LC ಆಸಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್? ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ of that particular oscillation? That is, F naught is equal to 1 over 2 pi into root LC. This is the expression for LC oscillation, or we may write this as omega naught is equal to omega naught square is equal to 1 over L into C. Omega square is equal to 1 over L into C, or omega naught is equal to 1 over ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ರೂಟ್ ಇಂಟು LC. ನೀವು ಇದು ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. ನಾವು ಇದು ಹೇಗ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ ರೆಸೊನೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿರೈವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ? ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ LC ಆಸಿಲೇಷನ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್? ಈಗ LC ಆಸಿಲೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುವಂತಹ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೇಳಬಹುದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. 1 mark ಅಥವಾ 2 mark ಗೆ mention the expression for total energy of a LC oscillations ಅಥವಾ LC circuit. What is the total energy of the LC circuit ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ that is sum of the energy of a capacitor or energy of the inductor. ಈಗ energy of the capacitor, ನಾವು energy of the capacitor expressions ನಾವು capacitance ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. What is the energy of the capacitor? That is U into, that is U. We may call that as UC. U means internal energy of a capacitor, and here we can consider an inductor UI. Internal energy of a capacitor. Internal energy of a capacitor is nothing but 1 divided by 2 into C into V square. This is the expression for internal energy of the capacitor. You can go through your previous chapters, then you will get to know what is the meaning of this. And the internal energy of the inductor is nothing but 1 divided by 2 into L into I square. This is the expression for inductor. This is capacitor. Internal energy of the capacitor and inductor. If we add these two, because there are only two terms, only two materials inside that particular circuit, that is, one is capacitor and one is inductor, then the total energy of that circuit is half into CV square plus half into LI square. Now we have to explain that theoretically. Now then explain ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಯಾವುದನ್ನ LC oscillations ಹೇಗೆ produce ಆಯಿತು, how LC oscillations are producing. This may ask for 2 to 3 marks in your examination. If they ask for 2 marks, you can write that briefly. If they ask for 3 marks, and you have to write a little bit more. Okay. Now let us go to see what is the meaning of LC oscillations and how it is going to produce. What are LC oscillations? Here, initially, what we have to do is we have to consider a capacitor and an inductor connected across to each other. Now I am going to consider a capacitor. Here I have considered an capacitor across to an inductor. The capacitor has a capacitance of C, and this is inductance of inductor L. This is inductance of a inductor L, and this is capacitance of a capacitor C. Here what we have is charge. Inside that capacitance we have charge. Andre ee capacitor ಒಳಗಡೆ charge ಇರುತ್ತೆ. That charge has to discharge. ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವೀಗ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅನ್ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಟು ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ಸ್. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಲೈನ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೂತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಕ್ಯಾಪಾಸಿಟನ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಅಳಿತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್, ದ ಚಾರ್ಜಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೋರ್, ದ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್, ಫ್ರಮ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್, ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್. ಬಟ್ ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. This is the current produced initially in our circuit. Next, what we have to do is, this is before discharging, the circuit will be like this only. ಇನ್ನು ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಹೀಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಏನು ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ರಿಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟನ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್. Capacitor consists electric field lines as its energy, and inductor has its energy in the form of magnetic field. Capacitor ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಂಗ್ ಡಿವೈಸ್. ವಿಚ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಸ್? ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. Inductor is also a energy storing device, but this stores energy in the form of magnetic field. That we should know. Then what is the expression for internal energy of an capacitor? That is half into CV square. Or we may write another expression for this. Which one is that? The electric potential or potential difference built across a capacitor is nothing but Q divided by C. The electric potential difference built across a capacitor is nothing but V is equal to Q divided by C. If we substitute the values of Q divided by C here, what we will get? U into E is equal to half into C into Q square divided by C square. 1 C gets cancelled and the remaining part is half into Q square divided by C. This is also another expression for internal energy of a capacitor. Internal energy of a capacitor can also write like this. UE is equal to half of Q square divided by C, or Q square divided by 2C. 1 into Q square is nothing but Q square. Q square divided by 2C, or half into CV square. Both are same. You may write this equation or this equation. That is left to you. Now I am going to consider the total energy resides inside this capacitor in terms of charge as Q square divided by 2C. I did that right now. Now, what is the magnetic field inside this inductor, or internal energy of a inductor? That is 0. Before discharging of a capacitor of a capacitance, the energy inside the inductor is 0. Now, once if we get to discharge the capacitance of a capacitor, if we are trying to discharge the capacitance of a capacitor, then what it will become? If the charge is discharging through an inductor, means the charges are coming from that capacitor to the inductor. Here the number of charges is decreasing because the process of discharging has been done. Therefore the current has to produce inside this circuit. The current has to produce inside this circuit. This is the direction of the electric field. That means that has to be opposite to this direction. This is the direction of current that is produced inside the circuit. If once the charges has to discharge through the inductor, then there will be the production of magnetic field across this inductor. Once the capacitor has to discharge, means the charges has to go through this copper wire. If the copper wire has current, means across that, around the copper wire, there is a production of magnetic field. This is the concept of magnetic field. Now the charges are going to reduce inside a capacitor. Once the charges are reducing, the current starts to flow inside the circuit in one particular direction. Next, what we will have is, we don't have complete internal energy of a electric field lines inside a capacitor, or complete internal energy of a magnetic field lines inside a inductor. This is not completely charged. This is discharge a little bit, this discharge a little bit, so the some amount of magnetic field produced in an inductor. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪೂರ್ಣ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋ ಕಾರಣ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇರ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಝೀರೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಇದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಝೀರೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗೋರಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ಅಷ್ಟು ಎನರ್ಜಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಇದ್ದಂತ ಅಷ್ಟು ಎನರ್ಜಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಗೆ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರೆ then it will become like this. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋ ಕಾರಣ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ UE is equal to 0 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ಅ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್. ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 0, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೀವಿ. ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಕಾರಣ UV is equal to 0. ಈಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಕಾರಣ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ದು ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. ದೆನ್ ದ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಈಸ್ UB is equal to half into L into I0 square. I0 ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪೀಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್. ಈಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಚಾರ್ಜು ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಥ್ರೂಔಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ I0 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತಾವ್. ಎಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ರಿಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್. ಇದು ಹಾಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಈಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಇಂದ ಎಗೈನ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದಂತ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಗೇನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ದ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ is now going to discharge but in opposite direction. What we will get right now is in our fourth step the inductor is releasing its energy, means the capacitor has to charge again but in opposite direction. But in opposite direction the capacitor is going to charge. Here we have positive electrode and this one is a negative electrode, but in case of a reverse charging this will become negative electrode and this one becomes positive electrode, and the energy built inside a capacitor reverse its direction. Therefore the direction of current also has to be reversed. Here we have in this direction and here we have in this direction. The current is traveling throughout the circuit. This is the another half cycle is going right now. That means here inside this inductor there is some amount of energy. There is some amount of energy inside this inductor while transferring amount of energy to this capacitor to charge. If the capacitor is charging, means in opposite direction there is some amount of energy is there inside a capacitor. This is not equal to 0. There is some amount of energy is present inside a capacitor. That means the energy inside that particular device is not equal to 0. Similarly, the energy inside of this inductor is also not equal to 0 because it has some energy still now. Therefore the process is going right now again in a opposite direction. That means the capacitor has to charge completely. Therefore, what we will get is, if we completely charge the capacitor in opposite direction, then what we will get is, there is zero magnetic field inside a inductor. ಈ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದ್ದಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಕಳಿಸಿ ನಾವು ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ಸ್ ನ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಎನರ್ಜಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಯಾವ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ನ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿತ್ತೋ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು. ನಾವು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒನ್ಸ್ ದ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್, ಅದು ಒಂದು ಸಲ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗಿದ ನಂತರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಅಗೈನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್. ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ and discharge, inductor gets charged and discharge. This cycle continues. Then during this process, the electric field lines and magnetic field lines inside a capacitor and an inductor gets oscillate. The electric field line and the magnetic field lines inside a capacitor and an inductor gets oscillate while the process of charging and discharging of a capacitor. This concept is known as LC oscillations. This is what we called as LC oscillation. This is all about LC oscillations and how they are going to produce. How they are producing that we have explained using a capacitor and an inductor. This is all about LC oscillations, and we have to mathematically treat this LC oscillations. We have to show how this has happened mathematically. That I'll do in a next session. ಈಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ಇದಷ್ಟು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಥಿಯರಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಈ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ರೀಸನ್ ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ನ ಅವರು ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಮ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಆರ್ creating some electric current inside the inductor. Then there will be a presence of magnetic field. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಒನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ಡ್ ಟು ದ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್, ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗಿದ ನಂತರ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಎನರ್ಜಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಉಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಂತರ ಈ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಮೂವ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಿಲ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟನ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನಿಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಗೈನ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಚಾರ್ಜ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಗೈನ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ನಿಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಪದೇ 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 ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸಿಲೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಸಿಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ LC ಆಸಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕಡೆನೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಈ LC ಆಸಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ಅಥವಾ LC ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ನ ನಾವು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. This is it, and we are going to do a mathematical part in our next session.